Good afternoon and welcome to another Money Making Mom Scope. This afternoon we're going to be talking about email list, and we're going to be talking about 3 things that you should do to build a strong email list. So welcome, I'm so glad to have you here. For those of you who are new, my name is Crystal Payne and I am the founder of MoneySavingMom.com, and I am also the creator of the 14-day online course called Make Over Your Mornings, and that's at makeoveryourmornings.com. So glad to have so many of you joining us. Hi, Erin. And I am excited to be talking about email lists because this is something that I've really been experimenting with over the last year especially, and seeing some huge response from. And so I am just really excited to share with you some things that I've learned, and just, you know, we're all learning together. And I think also I just want to encourage you. I have been blogging for 11 years. This is going to be my 11th year of blogging. And just to encourage you that it's only been in the last year that I've really been intentional about email list. And so I hope that that encourages you to know that, you know, it's never too late to start, and it's never too late. So we're going to talk about 3 things you should do to build a strong email list. And I have 3 email lists. I have plus I have a daily email newsletter that is just the full feed from my blog, MoneySavingMom.com. And then I have an email newsletter that goes out on Monday evenings, and we call that the Crystal Payne email newsletter, which sounds a little funny, except for it's just my personal email newsletter, and you can sign up for that if you're interested. That is, if you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, there is a sign up for the Make Over Your Calendar course that's free, and that puts you on my Crystal Payne email newsletter. And basically it's just a note from me every week that I share just newsy things in my life, books I'm reading, stuff that I'm learning, links that I've loved, and just really very just personal. And so that goes out on Monday nights, and then I have a Wednesday email that is the Money Making Mom email newsletter, and that's for people who want to make money, and especially for moms, but it can be for anyone. And that goes out on Wednesday evenings, and you can sign up for that by going to MoneyMakingMomBook.com. That signs you up for my free 5-day course on how I make a full-time income from home, and also put you in our Money Making Mom email newsletter. And then I have a 3rd and separate email newsletter that is the Make Over Your Mornings email newsletter. And this is for people who have purchased Make Over Your Mornings. This was actually the first email newsletter that I really started and intentionally built. And once I saw that there was so much great response coming from it, I decided that I was going to branch out and do 2 other email newsletters as well. So the Make Over Your Mornings email newsletter goes out on Saturday mornings, and it's very much about intentional living and living with purpose. And I will also share some behind the scenes things of my own life, but then a lot of it is going to be like recently I've been talking about my Go to Bed Early challenge and my decluttering challenge, and then I'll share links that are helping you be more organized and live with more intention. So those are my 3 email newsletters. So my 3 tips that I want to share with you. Number 1, send your email newsletter out weekly. And the reason that I believe you should send an email newsletter out weekly is because I think that consistency is very important. I think people grow to kind of know and expect that it's going to be in your inbox, in their inbox. And if you're not in their inbox consistently, then they can kind of forget about you. And here's the other thing. Just because they don't open it up doesn't mean that they didn't see it. And I think sometimes we forget that you just being in their inbox every single week and them seeing you in their inbox reminds them that you exist. So maybe at that season of life, they're busy and they don't, maybe let's say for instance, my Money Making Mom email newsletter. They don't see, or they're busy and life is happening and they don't have space in their life to really focus on making money. But they're interested in it and they know that, you know, soon down the line, they're going to want to really pay attention. So you being in their inbox every single week reminds them that you exist. And then maybe they're talking to one of their friends and one of their friends is saying, you know, I really want to start learning how to make money, and I'm really struggling with figuring out. They will remember because you were in their inbox every week, and they'll say, oh, I know this great resource. So it keeps you top of the mind for them, even if they don't open it. So number one, send it weekly. It keeps your list warm, which that means that your list is, when you send it out every single week, then maybe it keeps your list warm, which means people are seeing your email newsletter, people are opening your email newsletter, and it tells your email newsletter provider that people like your newsletter. So then if you want to send out maybe an advertisement about something, well, if your list is warm because you've been sending stuff out regularly, then all the email services are more apt to show that email and have that email not go in people's spam box because your list is warm. So send it out once a week because it reminds them that you exist. Consistency is good, and it keeps your list warm. I think it's important to start emails right away, even with a very small audience. I wish that I had done that. That's one of my greatest regrets in business. I wish that I would have started. I wish from the get-go I would have started an email newsletter and I would have nurtured it. Even if I could only send it once a month, I wish that I would have been intentional about that, because literally I feel like I'm having to go back to the very beginning, and I could have had hundreds of thousands of email addresses on a really warm list that I could have then, when I had a new product come out or something, that I could have promoted it to them. I wish I would have started in the beginning, but I didn't. And so it's never too late to start, but if you can, start from the beginning. Yes, Erin, you and I, we're like this. We made the mistake of just kind of like blogging, and it's like la 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 la, you know. And then I went to Michael Hyatt's platform conference a few years ago, and everything was about your email list, your email list, your email list, your email list. And I was like, I don't really have an email list. And I realized so many opportunities and so much has slipped through my fingers because I didn't have an email list. I just assumed that people would show up to my blog every day, which a lot of people do, but I didn't have any way to contact them if they forgot to show up at my blog, or they forgot my URL, or their life got busy. And so being able to have a way to contact them and then nurture that relationship, literally, I told you this the other day, I mean, we are blown away with how effective it's been. And even with not having huge lists, I mean, my Money Making Mom list is our largest list. There's about 35,000 people on there right now. We are making literally thousands and thousands of dollars every month off of that list. And the same with my Makeover Your Mornings list. There's about 20,000 people on that list, and we're not seeing that kind of response from it because it's a different kind of audience, but we're still seeing some really significant response from it. And that is also the list that when I have a new product come out, those are that's my market, and those are my customers, because the 20,000 people who bought Makeover Your Mornings, they're going to be more likely to be the ones who are going to buy when I have Makeover Your Evenings come out, when I have other things come out, because they've already bought once. So number one, send it out weekly. Number two, write like you're writing to a friend. This is something that way back in the day when I first started with blogging, this was something that I remember a really wise person. It was Jim Erskine, who he used to have homeschool radio shows. I'm not sure what sites he has now, but yeah, I remember him talking about writing like you're writing to a friend. And I wish that I would have started that and would have really nurtured that, because people love that. They love feeling like they are a part of something special, that they are behind the scenes, and that they're getting this newsy email newsletter from me every single week. People just love it. So one of the things to remember is that I encourage you to share some content that people won't get anywhere else. So what are some tidbits that you can share that you're not going to share anywhere else online. The whole thing doesn't have to be brand new content, but I always try to share some things that I haven't shared anywhere else because it is behind the scenes. Links or information, stuff that you aren't going to read on my Instagram, you're not going to read on my blog. Now, there's a lot of overlap because a lot of people who get my email newsletters don't necessarily get on my Instagram or get on my blog. So I'm okay with some overlap, and that helps me so that it's not real hard to put together the email newsletter, but I always try to share some interesting tidbits or that they get it on the email newsletter first as well. So write like you're writing to a friend. Encourage interaction. So yeah, and sometimes you miss stuff as well. And that's the thing I realized, that not everybody can read. Not everybody's going to come to the blog every day. Not everybody's going to see everything. I can't even keep up with what I'm posting sometimes. People will say, remember that post you posted last week? And I'm like, and I have to rack my brain. So yeah. Encourage interaction. One of the things that I've been doing is encouraging my readers to reply. I've been asking them to say, hey, what books are you reading? What are you working on? When I started the Go to Bed Challenge, I said, reply and tell me what time you are going to commit to going to bed. And I'm reading those, and I don't always get to respond to every single one, but I respond to as many as I possibly can. And that helps people to know that they have value. That it's not just this email newsletter that I'm putting out there that I don't really care what they think. Like, I want to know. I want their interaction. I want to hear what they have to say. I want their response. This is a two-way sort of street. And it's a newsy email newsletter from me, and I want to hear from you. And I love it when people will write me back and they'll be like, I know a lot about you, so I thought you might like to know about me. I love that. They'll send me pictures of their family, and I get to know them a little bit through that email newsletter. So also have an interesting subject line. How long do you recommend for the email to be? I try to change things up. So sometimes I'll have longer ones with more content, more pictures, more links, and sometimes I'll have shorter ones. And honestly, it really just depends on how much time I have. Some weeks I have more time, and some weeks I don't have as much time. So that's the length usually depends upon how much time I have. I love to respond to tweets. I don't always get to, but I'm always happy when I can, because I mean, you guys, it's like I wouldn't have a platform if it wasn't for you, and I wouldn't have a blog. I wouldn't be able to make a full-time income online if it wasn't for you guys. So I want you to know that you are very valuable, and I appreciate you so much. Okay, so an interesting subject line. I write my subject line after I've already written the email, because sometimes when I'm writing the email, it takes a different path than I think it's going to take. And so I kind of just like let it all out, whatever comes, and then I'll go back through and I'll look through and I'll say, okay, what is an interesting subject line that would capture people's attention? I'm not a fan of having bait and click sort of subject line. So like, you won't ever want to miss this. This is the most craziest thing that has ever happened, or something. Like, unless it is the most craziest thing that's ever happened, or unless it is really big news, which every once in a while, I do have some really big news. And I'm okay with saying big news in all caps, but not every week, okay? So think about what is interesting in your email newsletter that's going to kind of capture people's attention in their inbox, cause them to click through, but then you're going to deliver on what you actually said in your subject line. So write it after you have already written your email, and kind of look for a phrase that might really stand out that then you can deliver on. Like I think one recently, it was like, I'm trying to think. I should have had some better examples. I'm trying to remember what the one that is going out tonight, what I put. Now I can't remember. But something that's really that, think about what's going to stand out in your inbox, and try not to use phrases that are overused. And something that sounds newsy and that is from a friend. Ask a question. That's a great one. And I know that there's ways that you can go and you can look and you can see like what would be the best subject line and everything. I don't do that. Yeah, something funny, Stacy. That's great. How much ahead of time do I write my newsletter? That's a great question. Well, so I'm supposed to have them written at least a day in advance. A day and a half in advance is when I'm supposed to, but sometimes that's not exactly how it goes. But the Christy who puts together, I give her the content and the pictures and she puts it all in the newsletter and gets it all scheduled for me. She is so good about making sure that I don't wait till the last minute, or she at least tries to help me not wait till the last minute. So I try to have it done the day before. That's my goal. So like my Monday evening newsletter, I try to have it done by Saturday night because I don't really get online much on Sunday. And then so like Wednesday's email newsletter, I get it done on Tuesday, and then Saturday's email newsletter, I try to get it done by Thursday night. But okay, so you don't want to do it too far in advance because then I think it loses that authenticity and it loses, like, stuff happens. And I don't want to do it too far in advance because then I'll miss out on being able to share something that I would want to share and that won't be relevant the next week. So number 1, send it out weekly. Number 2, write like you're writing to a friend. And number 3, stop selling and focus on bringing value. I really feel like if you write like you're writing to a friend, let's hope that if you have a friend over for coffee, you're not going to be like, oh my goodness, you have to buy my thing. You have to buy my book. You have to buy my book. You need to buy my book. You need to buy my book. Buy my book. Did you know I had a book come out? You need to buy. You're not going to sit there and do that if you're having coffee with her. Okay? You just aren't. You might say, oh, I'm so excited. My book came out. You might do that one time, but you're not going to like meet her at the door every time she comes and be squealing about your book. Okay? So you can celebrate those things sometimes, but please make sure that most of the time it's a coffee date. Most of the time it's just you and her talking like friends would talk, that you're bringing value to her, that you're listening to her, that you're paying attention to her, that you are giving her the value that she not only deserves, but the value that she is going to want, that's going to attract her and want her to continue being your friend. Okay? So stop selling and focus on bringing value. Think about how can you help? So if someone's going to come over to my house for coffee, and they're sitting across the table, I'm going to be thinking of how can I serve this person? What does this person need? How can I help her? How can, when she leaves my house, how can she feel more encouraged, more motivated, more inspired? That's what I want to happen when I land in someone's inbox. Now, every once in a while, probably once or twice a month, there's going to be some salesy stuff. I mean, I told you, I'm making thousands of dollars off of my Money Making Mom email list. This week, I'm going to be promoting a 10K, how to get your first 10K readers on your email list. That's why, full disclosure, I'm talking about email lists this week because I am promoting this course and I'm going to be doing a webinar on Thursday, by the way, which I was supposed to put on my scope page and I realized I forgot. But if you go to my scope page, you can sign up right now for the, I'm so organized here, aren't I? If you go to my scope page, which is MoneySavingMom.com/scope, there is an ebook there that you can download that is by Nick Stevenson. And he and I are going to do a webinar on Thursday about building your email list and about getting your first 10,000 readers. And it's a product that he's going to be promoting. I'm just giving you the free stuff. And then if you're interested, he'll tell you about what he has for sale. Because I feel like his free stuff, there's so much value. I mean, seriously, I downloaded his ebook and then I had to start writing an ebook, and Keely is helping me put it together, this ebook, because the dude inspired me so much that I was like, I gotta be doing this. This is no-brainer. This is so good. So, and then his free video series that if you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, his name is Nick Stevenson. Rich Stevenson, sorry, I should know his first name. Rich Stevenson. If you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, he has this free video series. And I watched 15 minutes of it and I'm sitting there going, oh my goodness, there's so much, this is so inspiring. I'm getting so many great ideas. So then I was like, let's do a webinar. And so I know he has been researching my audience. He's not doing very many webinars for this, but he's researching my audience to really bring value, because that's really his goal. He really wants to bring value. And he is from the UK, from what I understand. He has this amazing accent, and I'm gonna try really hard on the webinar not to start talking like him. But anyway, okay, that was a squirrel. So stop selling and focus on bringing value. Ask, how can you help? What do they need? How can you serve? ask them what they want. Okay, the link to the webinar. I knew that I was going somewhere with that. This week, if you're on the Money Making Mom email newsletter, I will be sending out an email tomorrow about the webinar, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to send out an email with some content on how to really build a strong email newsletter. It's different from this scope. And then on Thursday morning, you'll get another email that's like, we have a free webinar this afternoon. So this week you're going to get more because we're promoting the webinar, but it's all about bringing value. And so I want to help you. I want to give you free content. If you're interested in what he has to sell, that's great. If you're not, there's tons of great content that's for free. And that's what's really important to me, is to bring the value in bringing the free content and not just saying the only way you get value is if you pay money. I don't want that. Like, that is not serving my readers. So how can you help? What do they need? How can you serve? Really ask yourself that, and then take a poll or do a survey on your email list and see what people want. Ask them, say, reply back to me. What is your favorite part of my email newsletter? What part do you just skim over? Really, by just engaging with them, letting them know that you want to hear from them. I will put the webinar link up on MoneyMakingMom.com/scope when I get done, because I was so organized this time. I should have put that on my list. See, here's the deal. This book is my journal, which is also my brain, and if it's not in this book, it doesn't happen. So basically, if it's not on my list, it doesn't happen. And somehow it got in my brain, but it never got to my list, and so then it never got done. So, but I will put it when we are done. I will put it on there. So, anyway, but so if you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope right now, you can sign up for his ebook that is fantastic on how to use Amazon, free ebooks on Amazon to build your email list. So stinking smart. He also has a free video series that's really good that I think you'll find very helpful. It's Nick. Is it Nick? Okay, see, it's Nick Stevenson, okay? I should just I really need to write it down, because this brain of mine is not working very well. And so Nick Stevenson, we're going to get this right. Nick Stevenson. I need to know his name before I show up for the webinar. So sign up for that. And then also on that page, if you missed my scope last week that I did on 20 ways to get people to sign up for your email list, I would really encourage you to go back and watch it. Not because I think I'm this amazing scoper, but because there was a lot of great information in the comments, and there were a lot of great ideas shared. And also I talked about this amazing resource from Brilliant Business Moms that you can sign up for free as well when you go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope. Yeah, he's not watching. He seems like he's pretty chill. He actually, you know what? He owes me, or I can, because he set up the whole webinar thing, and I then signed up for it to make sure everything was correct before I was going to tell you all about it, and then forgot to link to it. Anyway, so this was on Saturday, and he had then the follow-up email that came after you signed up. It said welcome to the webinar, you signed up for the webinar with Crystal Payne, and then it had another guy's picture, and it wasn't me. So I guess I can call him the wrong name, because he had another guy's picture instead of me. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share with you. Yeah, I'm a dude. It's actually Nick, but my site says Nick, so I need to change that. If someone reads your blog through Reader like Feedly, do you miss out on those page views? If you read my blog through Feedly, yes, you're not sending page views, but that's okay. There is a reason specifically that I have full feed in Feedly. I offer full feed because I don't want people to have to hop over to read stuff. That's providing value to say you get the full feed. Sometimes people will just have a paragraph and then you have to click over to read the whole thing. I'm the kind of person that if there's just a paragraph, I'm rarely going to click over. But if they have the full feed, I'm going to read it. And I'm engaging with them. And then sometimes I'm going to click over to their site. But I feel like offer value by giving them the full feed in your Feedly. And that's just a way that you can serve your readers well. So yes, I miss out on the page views, but it's serving my readers, and that's what's most important. So what service do I use? on my website. Are you talking about for email newsletter or for something else? Let me know. I feel like I should be taking notes of all the things that I need to be changed. Does blog loving operate like Feedly? I think so. I think so. Okay, I'm writing down that I'm going to change Nick's name. I'm so glad you guys are on the ball because clearly I'm not. What service do I use? So email newsletter service suggestions would be Mad Mimi. And yes, I'm writing with a dry erase marker. That's all I had here. So Mad Mimi, you have my back, thank you. And Mad Mimi, and what is the other one that I'm not thinking of? You guys help me out. There's one more that I'm not thinking of right now, but you won't judge. Thank you. MailChimp, that's what it is. So I think those are really the two that I've heard the most. Aweber is another one. No, that's not another one. Okay. I could say a lot of jokes about that, but we won't. Okay. Hand lettering at its finest. Yeah, see, seriously, I said change Nick. I use, so I use two. I use FeedBlitz. I just actually switched back. We had email direct. It was crazy expensive. We weren't happy with it. We did it for a year. Not happy. Supposedly there was all this cool stuff that was going to happen that didn't happen. That's a whole nother saga, and it's not necessarily email direct's fault, but we're not going to go into that. So it was a bad business decision, but that's a long story, and it's not email direct. We'll just say it at that. Okay, so I just switched back from email direct to FeedBlitz. And FeedBlitz is basically, they just take your RSS feed and they turn it into an email newsletter. And now it seems like they have a lot of really cool options. So that is, if you just want for your RSS feed, so your blog feed, I really have had great experience with that. But for an actual email newsletter, I use Infusionsoft. And there's a lot of reasons why I use Infusionsoft for my weekly email newsletters. I don't necessarily think it's the best of the best of the best, but one of our big reasons we use it is because we also have our digital products and our affiliate program are through Infusionsoft. So by having our email newsletters plus our digital products plus our affiliate email newsletter, our affiliate program through all of that, it allows us to do a whole lot of things and have all those things talk to one another, which is really important that we need the stuff to be able to communicate. That sounds weird, but communicate with one another so I can keep a list and know who's bought, who's purchased, who's unsubscribed, who's on what list. And so let's say that I want to send out an email to everyone on my list. Well, on all three lists, I don't want to have each of those people get 3 different email newsletters that basically say the same thing. So by being able to have them all talk to one another, then I can just send out a mass email to everyone, all the uniques on my email newsletter, but I don't have to worry about people getting duplicates, and that's happened in the past. So that's what I have. It's because of how we have things set up with digital products, I think it's a better option, but I would definitely recommend Mad Mimi or MailChimp to look into for if you're just starting out. And I think both of them have where you can get a certain amount. Somebody remind me. It's something like 500 to 2,000 for free. You can have 500 to 2,000 email newsletter subscribers on your list for free before you have to start paying. Yeah, people don't like duplicates, and I try to serve people well with ActiveCampaign. I've not heard of ActiveCampaign. Has anyone heard of ActiveCampaign and used that? There's so much out there. MailChimp is 1,000, so MailChimp is 2,000, and Mad Mimi, so it's somewhere around there. So if you're just starting out, start with free, and then you can always switch to something else. Mad Mimi is great for non-techies, and since I don't set up my email newsletter myself, if I were setting it up, I would go with something like Mad Mimi where I could actually figure it out because I'm not techie at all, and so I have to have it I have to have my hand held to be able to figure out what's going on. And their customer service is amazing. That is great to know. It's way less than it used to be when it comes to the free plan. Okay. Total tech dumb, yes. Tech dumb, we unite on that. I can mess things up in a hurry, so You hop on customer service chat and they walk you through. And that right there is invaluable, to be able to hop on a customer service and have somebody help you. And MailChimp bases it off the number of emails sent a month. Okay, so helpful. So with Mad Meme, you can have 2,500 subscribers for $16. That's really good. That's really good. So anyway, okay, so the 3 things we said: send it out weekly, if you possibly can. 2, write like you're writing to a friend. And 3, stop selling and focus on bringing value. And be sure to go to MoneySavingMom.com/scope, where I'm going to put the correct link for the webinar with the correct name on there as soon as we get done. So thanks so much for joining me this afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow morning, sometime between 7:30 and 8 a.m. Central Time, for our morning motivation show. Have a great day.